So I stumbled across this article today and I didn't realize this, but this is very great. Every now and then you're going to hear me say something about Final Fantasy 11, because this is my heart and my soul. Many of you already know this, but that game during Golden Era, that game will always remain my heart, my soul, everything. I have an immense love for that game. And the things that it has taught me in my life and made me who I am, that I heavily attribute that game, that community, to who I am, to the leader that I am, to all the above. Anyways, nonetheless, Final Fantasy 11 and Discord. Now, what do those things have in common? So I actually did not know this. And this is very crazy to me. And it's just a testament of just how impactful FF11 was. And I'll mention some other people as well that will help solidify this as well. But first, be sure to like and subscribe. Helps out tremendously. Thank you very much. So you might be wondering, okay, why are you talking about FF11, Final Fantasy 11, and Discord? Well, first and foremost, for those who don't know, Final Fantasy 11 was the first MMO of Square Enix. So now there's Final Fantasy 14, and there was Final Fantasy 11, which was the first online installment in the franchise, which came out in 2002 in Japan and came out 2003 in North America. That was on PC and then got released later on PS2 at the time. And then in 2006, I believe it was released on Xbox. But nonetheless, Final Fantasy XI is heavily recognized during its golden era, which was pretty much the 10-year period between its release and, the servers are still up now, but that 10-year period pretty much was during the 75 cap. When it was a horizontal game, it was level 75 that whole time, and it was just expansions being added to that with whole new areas, whole new classes, but it was horizontal so that everything was around there. The entire game was a game. It wasn't like a vertical game, which World of Warcraft came 2 years after Final Fantasy XI's release, which introduced vertical format gaming in the wide scale that we see it today, which is why you can thank World of Warcraft for everything being vertical now. For those of you who may are fed up with it or whatnot, you can thank World of Warcraft and how successful it was, of course, for vertical format. But nonetheless, Final Fantasy XI Golden Era is, one of the greatest achievements of the MMO era, of MMO history, period. And that community is second to none. The only thing that even is close to it would be World of Warcraft in terms of its community. And that's even far landslide, not even close to it, because it's two different types of communities. And the community of Final Fantasy XI was second to none. And this is a prime example of this. So the creator of Discord, help me if I say this wrong, but Stanislav Wisniewski, the creator of Discord, recently had an interview with Famitsu. This was at the Tokyo Game Show that happened here in October 2024. And they sat down, they talked about Discord, and I think he was promoting some things, and they just want some history and stuff like that about Discord. And lo and behold, it's the creator, Stanislav, he states that Discord was actually a tool that he started making because he was obsessed with Final Fantasy XI during college. This is actually incredible because I resonate with this so much, because Final Fantasy XI really drove me to just go out of the box. That game really created an environment where you weren't afraid to dive in and go through the hard work and grind and communicate with people and work as a team and understand the lows, and doing what it takes to achieve and get past those walls, those barriers, and that's really what it did. And Stanislav really talks about this and just how he was obsessed with Discord, obsessed with Final Fantasy XI, and that's why he made the Discord app. It was originally a tool that he wanted to use while he plays Final Fantasy XI. It was meant for Final Fantasy XI. That's the crazy thing. That is the absolute crazy thing. He said he wanted to be like a living room setting, and this was to enhance the gameplay of Final Fantasy XI. That's what it was built for. And then, of course, he moved to California and joined the company. And then, of course, all the history with the co-founder and everything like that, and it became what it is now. But the origins of the story originate with Final Fantasy XI. He's a huge Final Fantasy XI fan. He also plays Final Fantasy 14, but of course, I don't care for Final Fantasy 14. And nonetheless, that's regardless, because the obsession, the passion was with Final Fantasy 11, and that's what drove Discord to being founded and worked upon, which I thought was really freaking cool. And you see this example so much with Final Fantasy 11 because Final Fantasy 11, like I said, it created leaders. It created people who are not afraid to work towards something. It created people who understand that you might fail time and time and time again, but you keep trying, you keep different methods, you keep communicating, and then you will achieve your success. And when you achieve that, it feels very good, very great, very rewarding. The game was difficult, notoriously so. It was notoriously difficult during Golden Era. The game now, by the way, just to clarify for any of those who want to, oh, well, maybe I should go check it out. Servers are still up. However, of course, remember that the game is completely different now. They are two entirely different games. The game that exists now is entirely different, not even remotely close to what it was during Golden Era. Now, of course, there's private servers and stuff too, but those always are broken. They don't have all the expansions in there, all the things. You have to realize that like, that game was a full complete game. This wasn't the age of where it's just you just vertical, you just race to the top, and then everything's at the top. No, those games, the whole process was a game. Leveling from 1 to 75 was a whole journey in itself. Every little small side quest actually meant something and felt good. Every little thing that was in the game felt like it had and served a purpose. It wasn't just reach the top level, everything's there. You arguably wanted to just like keep leveling because the journey to the top was so much fun, arguably more fun than the end game was. And the end game was freaking fun as hell. You see, like it was incredible. But the community is really what it was. And understandably so, this really impacted a lot of people. You look at other people who are successful in today's scene, like someone like Maximilian Dood. Many people know him. He's huge in the fighting game community. If you know fighting games, you know Maximilian Dood. And of course, he had a good stint in Final Fantasy 11 as well. He actually played on the same server I did. And there's other people, of course, that we know. I'm gonna bring this name up, but he's not really, it's not as relevant nowadays. But Ninja, of course, we know Ninja is heavily a big fan of Final Fantasy 11 as well. But these are just examples to show the grit and the types of individuals who are not afraid to put in that work and not afraid to put in the time and whatnot. And this is pretty much just how everyone that played Final Fantasy 11 Golden Era pretty much turned out to be. There's other examples too. Like there's a lot of people. A lot of the people play Final Fantasy 11 who you see who might be like of that age or something like that that have made waves or whatnot. A lot of them are, and I think it's just really cool to see that Discord, this thing that everyone uses that connects so many people, was backbone driven by Final Fantasy 11, which was a game that had a community that was community driven, that was unlike any other game to have ever and will ever probably exist. Because the fact that those go hand in hand, that it brings together so many people in Final Fantasy 11 did that exact same thing. It's just, I never really thought about it, but it makes so much sense after realizing that he was obsessed with Final Fantasy 11. I thought this was the coolest thing. The absolute coolest thing. And as you can see, like I said, I'm always excited because Final Fantasy 11 is my heart and my soul. It will always be. The golden era of Final Fantasy 11 is my heart. I would cry if they made a Final Fantasy 11 classic. I would shed tears, bro. I would shed tears. But I thought that this was just really cool. This was really neat for anyone, who played Final Fantasy 11 or who never, a lot of people didn't play Final Fantasy 11. This was a long time ago. So, or played during Golden Era. And private service, like I said, you're not getting the same experience with private service. Only Square Enix can replicate the true Final Fantasy 11 experience, because there were so many things within Final Fantasy 11 that are so intricate and they just cannot be put on private service. Also, the fact of that having GMs, game masters. And for those who don't know what GMs are, game masters are just like, like mods, right? But they're their own characters in the game, so they'll appear. So some of y'all may not be familiar with this because a lot of online games don't really have GMs types anymore that actually like characters within the game. A lot of times just have like supports, support tickets and stuff like that. But whereas, GMs would come and they would, just GMs would come on Final Fantasy 11. You report someone, they'll show up, they have this GM icon, they have like this special armor, like they just chill, they be watching people. You know what I'm saying? So like they regulate things, which helps you create a great community. They regulate people and like, oh, you acting up? They keep watching, like you acting up? And they shoot you to the prison area of the server. Like they have this like designate like like designate part of the server where it's just like a prison or something like that. It's like it was cool as hell. And like I said, only Square Enix can provide that service, which creates a great community. Because one of the things about private servers as well is that private servers are obviously made by private people, entities, which means that they're subject to bias, they're subject to outside influence, they're subject to favorabilities. So as a result, a lot of bad things tend to happen with private servers, and you tend to form a lot of separations, like cliques. Some people are treated more favorably, some people are not, so and so and so. And this always originates. I've played in private servers, in multiple private servers for Final Fantasy 11 over the years, and this is always one thing. But like I said, the biggest thing is that there's always content missing. And I mean a lot, because the game was that big and the source code was lost by Square Enix. True story, actually. True story. The source code was lost. The practices back then and how they kept things, the source code ended up getting lost, which is absurd to me. But nonetheless, I thought that this was really cool. I really want to cover this. I know that this isn't, like I said, every now and then you'll hear me do a Final Fantasy 11 video if I find something neat. It's not really like what I focus on. It would be if a classic ever comes out. Hell yeah. But it's not really what I focus on, but it is my heart and my soul. So I enjoy talking about it. I could talk about Final Fantasy 11 for years, on uninterrupted. I could talk about that with someone for years. Just the experiences. I could write a book about all the experiences, all the positive and heartfelt and the achievements and the community, just everything. I could talk about it for years. I feel like it. But anyways, I thought it was really cool that Stanislav was heavily obsessed with FF11. That's where the inspiration for Discord came from. I thought that was really cool. So I wanted to share that to let y'all know just the impact that FF11 had on everyone's lives. Everyone who games now, everyone is, without realizing it, they connected to Final Fantasy 11. That's how powerful that game was. Limitless, timeless. It's here. Anyways, be sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Much love.
Spikesu content.